Albert I. Prettyman was the athletic director and coach of several sports at Hamilton College back in the early teens. And in 1918, he established their first hockey team, which was the first hockey team in all of town of Kirkland, Clinton area. And in 1921, he convinced the college that they should build an indoor rink.
Russell Sage's family gave a huge donation to Hamilton College in 1920, and Hamilton used it to build the oldest college-built covered rink in the United States. And the Clinton kids were watching hockey up there and getting very enthused and started playing with sticks and pieces of coal down on the canal in the village. And it was a bunch of local leaders and Mr. Prettyman who started an outdoor rink here in Clinton at the site of the current Caledona Equipment Company.
Most of these men who were involved in establishing hockey in Clinton did have sons who were playing. And Fred Goring and Albert I. Prettyman actually poured the first ice at the community skating rink on Franklin Avenue, which was established in 1926. 2 years after that first rink, Ed Stanley, who had just graduated from Hamilton and knew a lot about hockey, started a movement to build a covered rink. Their first thought was to cover the existing outdoor rink on Franklin Avenue. Then World War II came along in 1941, and that ended the plan to build anything at that point. In '48, they actually started construction of our first arena. Ed Stanley knew then, when he had Greg Batt playing, that he was going to have a successful Clinton Town team, and that would in turn make a success out of this indoor arena. And as it turned out, Greg Batt really was a big attraction. He was reputed to be the best amateur hockey player in the United States at that time. Owen J. Burns had a successful grocery store on College Street, and he had 10 grandsons who were brought up here in Clinton, and every one of them played good hockey with the Clinton High School, and most of them played with Hamilton College. At least 5 of them came to the Clinton Town team after college. The saddest day in Clinton, New York was September 11th, 1953. The arena burned down. It was total destruction. The cause was undetermined. They then had to raise, in 1953, they had to raise another 50 or 60 to rebuild it. And believe it or not, in January of '54, they had their first game. Mayor Boyd Golder of Utica, who had been part of the dedication of the original rink in '49, he was there to drop the first ceremonial puck in 1954.
This is where hockey began, down in the village, really. And it was Greg Bott that gave the team the popularity to become ultimately the Clinton Comets. And that's when Mr. Stanley realized we had enough hockey fans that he could join the Eastern Hockey League, or whatever status it was at that point, and bring in all Canadian players. And it was really Canada that really put the Clinton Comets on the map. We had a pretty good town team, but when we brought in these fellas from Canada who were on their way to the NHL or on their way back from the NHL, and sometimes were never going to make the NHL, it was a hockey paradise, still is.
Came to the Clinton Arena in the fall of 1955. I got a letter from Clinton Comets to come and play hockey. Walked in and Ed Stanley was in the office, and I told him, I'm here to play hockey. Coming into the rink was like a lot of rinks in Canada, all small, 1,500, 2,000, and no glass. In the end zone, there was a wire screens that kept the puck from going into the crowd. The ice surface was fairly good.
I couldn't have asked for anything better to be a young kid coming out of juniors and coming to play here. I was just happy to be in the Eastern Hockey League and play in the cities that we played and against some of the better players that should have had a chance to go to the National Hockey League. But I wouldn't change. I wouldn't want to go back and change anything because of this whole deal with hockey in this whole area and how we've been treated. No way.
The very, very first time I ever came into the Clinton Arena, I was a member of the Philadelphia Ramblers of the Eastern Hockey League, and of course we're an opponent of Clinton's. And we had been on a southern swing down south, beautiful warm weather, and I remember when we pulled into the Clinton Arena, it was like the early part of January, and the snowbanks were about 8 feet high in front of this building and about 20 below zero. And when we came inside the building here to play, I thought, oh my God, what a difference from where we've been. But once the game got started and so on, I certainly realized what was going on and the atmosphere and everything else in this building. It was absolutely tremendous.
It was awesome. The people, the fans are tremendous here. They get really into the game, and they do know their hockey in the Mohawk Valley. So it was very, very special to me.
There was no side glass on the boards, so there was many altercations between fans and players. Some beer was thrown on players from time to time. Apparently a lady once was so upset at another player that she slung her purse at his head while he was skating by. I'm sure he deserved it. But it was quite a party atmosphere. I mean, there was a lot of beer drinking, a lot of Utica Club, there was a lot of cigarette smoking back in that day. And to imagine this full building with tremendous hockey happening where you could barely see across the ice by the end of the game for the smoke. They had beautiful wooden chairs here, these fold-up chairs. And just a couple of times that the melee on the ice continued into the stands where the folks watching the game wanted to participate, and they found the best way to do that was to pick up the nearest chair and throw it at one of the opposing players. It was pretty messy.